Wee! It's a wee bit of a tight fit in here. Danny here, Queen Glitter Chaos, more Smooth DD Speed Shop, and I have compiled a list, not really a list, but a plethora of your, well, are they mean comments or are they just, well, some of them are kind of mean. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna bring down a Coke and bribe him to talk about some mean comments with us. So let's go see what he is up to. Oh, hello.
Hello.
May I bug you for a few moments?
What are my options?
The option is yes.
Love to.
The option and answer is yes.
Perfect, that worked out good.
Well, I thought, we haven't done this in a while, where you respond to the comments on the internet.
Oh, my adoring supporters, you mean?
Yes, because they have a fair amount to say about this car.
What, how good it is?
Well, this person, James, says, step 1, pull the motor. Step 2, set car on fire. Wonder what part of Florida that turd came from. I had the joys of working on one of those about 10 years ago. Same color and had a yellow shade carpet inside. The doors are stupid heavy and will hurt you if it falls off the prop rod.
Sounds like he was accurate. Yeah, doors are definitely heavy, but we're messing with them. We got them kind of working. Working-ish, working adjacent.
John, well, he just hates it. And Kevin says, what a pile.
Sounds like they know their hot rods. People really are hating on this car, and I don't think they understand that cars are supposed to be just for fun sometimes. Like, this is gonna sound like an asshole, but it's not like our only car that has to be perfect or whatever. Like, sometimes you just, I don't know. It's like, you know, like, this is like once above buying like a $500 beater, beating on it in the field of your friends. That's what this is to me. Like, it's cheap. We're not into it for a whole lot. So far, everything's kind of working out. If we run into a situation where it's like, oh, this is gonna be $5,000, we're probably gonna stop working on it. But in the meantime, I think everything's kind of going together. I mean, I don't want to jinx it. We got to get some glass. We got to get some whatever. We have the hood for it. It runs. The transmission works. The rear end works. We'll be into it for a brake job and some suspension, which is any old car, whether it's super valuable or worth nothing. I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. It's different.
It's very different, but I feel like that's kind of part of the fun. Yeah. You don't grow if you don't try something new.
Sure.
Well, this guy, True Vape, so you know he has quality comments.
True Vape?
True Vape. He says, I don't know, buddy. I know where I'd start, and I'd get rid of all the Ford junk first.
Man, so you can't win with the Ford. So people are commenting, they're like, or he's being another Chevy idiot who doesn't understand how a Ford works, and other people are like, oh, it's Ford junk. I'm like, it's just a motor. Like, I don't know. I don't think I was talking too much down on it. I just don't have a whole lot of experience with it. I've done the Cobra, and that was it. So I gotta Google a few things. People are like, hater.
Dean says, that car is so ugly, I'd just use the drivetrain in something else and push the car in the weeds.
Okay, so I will say this car is, it's not a, what's it called, like a classic beauty, but it's kind of, it's different. And I think, like I said in my video, you kind of got to put yourself into, it's 1975, what's on the road, and then there's this. Like I think cars are funny, so like, start like in the 50s, obviously with the Tri-5 Chevys, they were gorgeous, and you go into like the kind of late 50s, early 60s weren't really my jam, and then like 65, 6, you guys start getting like, the, you know, the Chevelles, and the, like the Mustang came around, and like, cars look really pretty, and then like, 1971, 72 happened, and cars started getting big bumpers, real ugly and all that. This is a 75. So if you compare apples to apples, I think it's okay looking for a 75. If it was built in probably 68, it probably would have been a whole different design, right? If safety wasn't in top priority.
This is the safety vehicle.
I do think it's a safe car. I gotta say,
Number
looking through
one.
it, pretty good for 1975.
So this next section is in regards to the 57 plow.
Oh.
But won't the classic car get rusted driving on salted roads?
Probably.
No follow-up?
Well, would you like me to? It is. I don't know what else I'm going to say to that.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure his 2-year-old truck that he's financed will also rust in those same roads. So, but that's the thing I always crack up. People are like, you're going to ruin that car. Every car being driven in the wintertime is slowly but surely getting ruined and rotten out.
Well, any car, anytime has just natural wear and tear. How many bumpers have you, or how many curbs have you hit in the last year, people?
Try to work yourself.
No.
You literally the other day whacked one.
Did I?
Yesterday or 2 days ago in the 56, banging the curb I was dragging.
Okay, but that didn't count.
It doesn't count, right? You only had brakes and it was rolling. Why would it count? But I always laugh, so people freak out. So either A, you look at your, I don't care what it is, any new car that's worth kind of anything is like 50 grand, 40, 50 grand, right? So you're going to buy that, you're going to drive it in the wintertime. So you're telling me that thing is worth less than my 57 Chevy 4-door to 2-door conversion, which I don't think we have $5,000 in. Other than maybe the Holly and the fuel system, the car itself, like, come on, look out of your ass. Plus, I can fix it.
Tim says, you shouldn't do that. I watched you build it. It'll break.
Not wrong. So far, it's done okay. Hasn't fallen off yet.
Well, and Doug is very passionate in his comment. I know you love the clickbait, which you do.
No.
But I thought you got that fugly white truck back. Having spent too many hours plowing, I gotta say the fun factor of the vintage car would pale in comparison to an actual modern plow with fully operational hydraulics and 4-wheel drive. Pretty dang quick.
I agree. Clearly, I mean, it was a joke.
I feel like you just have to say that out loud for people to understand that
Maybe
it was
I
a
should
joke.
have had a little, like, beforehand. This is not my business of plowing driveways. We screwed around the back lane, plowed some random parking lot, and I went to MERS. I don't know. Yeah, the Chevy half-ton, 1-ton with the 4x4 and the power steering and power brakes is much nicer.
And like the Bobcat.
Oh yeah, we have a Bobcat.
There were so many questions on the comments. Why aren't you using the Bobcat? I thought you bought a Bobcat. Why aren't you using the Bobcat?
You know, just shovel by hand.
Doo says that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I clearly enjoyed this episode. It was super awesome. Thanks for the laughs.
He gets it.
Also, this one I feel like is in defense of all the people that say we're not Canadian enough, actually. The most Canadian thing ever. You would never see this in the center of Earth, but Winnipeg, for sure. If this was a pristine numbers matching original Tri-5, then yes, you would be an idiot. But this is a rescue from the crusher pieced back together and made into a driving, running car. Let somebody with deep pockets to match their moral outrage buy it and make it pristine. It can never be made original again, but not until you're done having fun with it.
I think that's what people, and then that's again, if you just happen to kind of stumble into the video and you don't realize that it's just, that car was a $1,000 4-door, no motor, no trans, rough car, but it had the right color and I liked the green glass, and it was a 150 base model, so I liked it. So I bought it and we converted it. I had no interest in buying that car, it just kind of came up, right? Mm-hmm. And then we built it and then put a bunch of miles on it, and that thing's been the power tour, went all the way to Florida and back. We screwed around, I got a pile of miles on it.
When did it go? Oh yeah, it did go to Florida on power tour. Oh my gosh.
Went all the way to Florida, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got miles on it, it's proved itself, it's done its thing.
Like the ocean of Florida.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've drove that, it must have 15,000, like that's probably the car I drove the most
Yeah.
for sure. It's got a bunch of miles on it, it's been fun, and yeah, it's not whatever. Now, I don't think I would want, I mean, I say this after I just bought that friggin' nice Nomad, but I generally don't like nice original cars because I know myself and I'm hard on gear, and I also like to drive it. And I every mile I have is a guilt-free mile. And I think a lot of people have a lot of guilt about wearing things out or worry about a scratch or whatever it was. Like, Don stopped by yesterday or the other day, that gorgeous 57 Chevy.
Oh, the Coca-Cola one?
You know, and I think like he put a lot of miles on that thing. I give that guy credit because that car.
They're ginger miles.
But that car is like $100,000 plus for sure. Original 57 Chevrolet convertible, and he puts miles on that thing. He goes to car shows. He actually showed me he had a plaque. He got I forget what most miles or best hot rodder of the year, because he actually drove the thing.
That's so nice. Congratulations, Don.
And I love that. That's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
But I also know he has a heart attack when someone puts their belt up against the paint. He's had scratches in it, and it drives him crazy. So he has those problems, whereas we don't.
All right, so switching gears back to the Bricklin.
Oh, God.
Bricklin. You can't get any further away from Tri-5s than this ugly, wretched, smog-era disaster of a pile. Calling it a supercar is like calling it the Walmart deli a restaurant. Looking forward to the series.
So is he mad or into it? I'm confused. So I get all the time, we're recently, in which we've been Tri-5 heavy, kind of. And kind of such as life. Once you have one of them and you have two or three, then they just start falling in your lap. I mean, I wasn't planning. So the last couple Tri-5s I got, that 56, I wasn't planning on getting, but then a deal came up in between while waiting on parts to build your car, that 64. Yeah. So I bought it just as something to have. Got it running, kind of play with it. Did your 64, did that, and then, the 57, it had to come home. And I had bought that a year ago. So it came
to save a dog.
To save a dog, so I bought it just because
also people want to know how that dog is doing.
It's good, still around. So I don't know, we can't interview him, but he's fine. So like that car came and it was kind of like, I forgot I bought that car until the guy was hounding me like, hey man, do you want to move this thing? I'm like, oh yeah. So we moved it, got that, working on that, and then the Nomad came up in an auction that was like just down the road, so how do you not buy it? And I mean, the plan wasn't to work on Tri-5s. So yeah, this is very different. But this is what I was trying to get to, because people are saying, I've got a lot of Tri-5s, let's do different things. And ultimately, I think you don't know what you like or what you don't like until you do it. And if I hate this thing, we're not into it so deep that I can go put it in the bush or sell it or whatever, and I won't lose any sleep over it. We tried like the Opal, it's like what's it called? The Austin Healey and stuff, like, I don't know, you work on it when you like it. If you don't, you put it away.
It's like when you go to a new restaurant. You try it, you see if you like it, and sometimes it's a miss.
Well, and honestly, it's one of those things like, for a car to work on the channel, like, I have to like it, you have to like it, the viewers have to like it, like, and the parts have to be available, the suppliers have to like it. Otherwise, it's just too much of a hassle.
There's a lot of people to please.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with this car. Murr enjoys it. Honestly, that's my favorite part. Murr really likes it, and it makes him excited.
I thought Murr was excited about the Nomad. Murr,
he's excited.
You guys, like, Murr is so excited about this Bricklin. I honestly think when you guys are mean about the Bricklin, he takes it personally.
It's just cool, and it's neat, and it's like, we were talking, like, me and Dan were talking earlier, this isn't the end-all, be-all car. I get it. And it sure, even if it was, this is not the example of it. But this is just, it's like having a Volkswagen Bug or like a Dune Buggy or like something like that. Where it's just kind of, not a throwaway, but like we're not going to have $5,000 in this car by the time it's kind of on the road. If you can have this much fun for $5,000, I say go do it every 10 out of 10 times, right? So.
That's a nice sentiment. That picture of it on the tow dolly behind the Nomad is the best it looked since it left the factory, because the Nomad's in the picture.
Not wrong, I agreed. Well, and that's the thing. So I also realized this car, compared to what we currently have here, is the worst car. It's just, that's how it is. I mean, you can't put this beside that blue 55 Nomad and be like, oh yeah, I'm the Bricklin guy. Like, even the Bricklin guy would be like, yeah, I'll take the Nomad. Like, come on, like, I get it. There's no hard feelings there.
Vintage Garage says, Dan, prove all the haters wrong and rat rod the heck out of it.
I think that's what's going to happen. She's going to be a ratty muscle car, that's for sure. Supercar, ratty supercar. We're starting a new trend. Write that down, actually, ratty supercar. Remember that.
Dennis says, a cracked block would be a blessing. Then you could put a real engine in.
Well, Yes. Ultimately, this car, I mean, it's kind of, I think it's so ugly, it's cool. Someone called it like the pug dog or something like that of cars. I read in the comments where it's like just googly-eyed, tongue's funny, breathes funny, but you fall in love with it because it's your dog, right?
Well, and tell them you used to have a
I
pug.
have a little pug, yeah. So there you go. This is basically the pug. But
Oh, we should call it Puggy.
oh my god. But give it to my mom.
Yeah.
But yes, this car would be way cooler with like an LS and an overdrive and all that, and actually had a little bit of power. But I mean, it's 1975. Nothing's had a lot of power. Even the most crazy car might have been, I don't know, 300 or 400 horsepower or something like that. So this thing, 4-barrel, aluminum intake, crank timing up, and enjoy it. I mean, it weighs 3,500 pounds, so it'll be fine cruising. It's not, we're not dragging it, we're not autocrossing it. We're showing up to the 7-Eleven in ripped jeans, and we're gonna psh, psh, and get our Slurpees. That's what we're doing in it.
And nachos.
And it'll look cool doing that.
As you like bumble out because you're too tall.
It's a little tight there. Well, you're gonna drive it, so I'm fine.
Heck yeah, I'm driving this thing.
I have no interest in driving this thing. I played with the doors, I got my fun out of it, that's all I needed.
Mur, we're gonna need a schedule because I am slowly falling in love with this thing. I love it.
You and Mur can share that and the Blue Nomad. I'll be with my ratty hot rods.
So Steven says, since you're a self-professed hot rodder, kindly explain this fiasco. I guess the good news is you won't be doing another brake and carb makeover series. This may garner less interest than the Lemon 56, and we all know how that went. Content is a relentless task, master. N'est pas?
Is that a question?
Isn't it? N'est pas?
I don't understand.
Well, I guess he just wants to explain why the Bricklin exactly, because it is very different.
Well, what's his name? Nicholas?
Steven.
Steven is clearly not a true car guy through and through. Because if you overthink it, you're an idiot. If you see a car you like and you have money in your pocket and you go and buy it, that's the end of it. That's the way my brain works. So this thing saw a picture of it. Hey, that's cool. Derek says, hey, do you want it? I go, yeah, sure. And then we figured out the money, the transport, the cross-border, all the paperwork, finding parts. But the transaction happened within 3 lines of text. So I don't know, I wasn't thinking about, is this going to be a content machine? It's a funny one. So obviously we want to get as many views as you can because that makes more money and all that sort of stuff. It's very simple. Economics, if you were maybe smart at YouTube. But, and I firmly believe we could do videos that would actually probably get a lot more views if you wanted to blow things up, do stuff like that, the Will It Run series, buying all this different stuff, going for the barn finds, the garage or the junkyard walks, all those things. We have done them, have worked, but to force them just seems greasy versus...
And you don't like doing those.
No, I don't like doing that. All I do on the channel is exactly what I want to do. And right now...
As on the channel, as in life.
As of right now, today, I want to work on this car. That could change tomorrow, and it's pushed outside, and we'll have something else in here. And that's just the way it is. So, as much as, I guess we do these videos for other people to watch, it's my hobby that I want to do what I want to do. So, I don't know if I answered the question there, but...
I think you just said something nice.
Is the car going to blow up the internet? Probably not. Derek already did it. He's already got the whole get it running and the driving and all that stuff. That's cool. That's not my jam. My jam is taking typically the worst example of a car and making it slightly less worst so you can drive it.
Well, and again, I think people kind of forget too. So where we live, like, your car has to meet a certain standard to be on the road safely. Where a lot of places in the States, it's not as rigid as ours. So like, you're really taking cars that are like, could probably be driven like as they are in different places in the States and stuff, or even some places in Canada. But where we are, there's like such a high level of like doneness and safety that has to happen.
I've always just been a believer in that anyways. That's what Murr did, kind of knock that into me, like, good suspension, good brakes. You know, you don't want the thing rotting out, so if it does get into an accident, you have the best chance possible. I mean, they're old cars, shit happens, right? And I hate seeing some of the stuff on the roads just completely unsafe. And I think that's the real thing with this car. A lot of people are going to say it's a terrible car, but I don't really know why. I honestly think a lot of people think it's a terrible car because they've heard someone else say it was a terrible car. That's what I always thought. And now looking at it and having working on it for the last few days, it's definitely, production and assembly was a struggle. And I think what people forget, this car was in production for 2.5 years. They made less than 3,000 of them. So yeah, there's probably a struggle. Henry Ford has done who knows how many millions and whatever cars. It's like, I'm sure the first 3,000 Big Macs weren't that great at McDonald's. Like cards on the table, you know what I mean? The first time you do anything for the first few times, it's not the greatest. Had this carried on, they probably would have figured out a lot of things. There's a lot of good parts on it, a lot of weird parts. There is some stuff that works and doesn't work, but ultimately, from where we are, the fiberglass, there was no rust. Did it crack? Absolutely, and that was a struggle that they had to kind of work on, but that was early fiberglass in the 70s. That's just what it was. It's not how it is today. The gulling doors, did they work? No, not the greatest, but I mean, look at now, how many cars even had gulling doors up until just recently with the Teslas and stuff? Like, I don't know, the 351 Ford, been around for a while. I think it's fine. Whether it's gutless or not, it'll last. So if they had more time or they built more cars, I'm sure they would have figured a lot of things out.
Well, it's kind of like, how many versions of an Impala are there? Right? You have to start somewhere and then you keep building off of it. Like today, Impala isn't the same as like Newbird's Impala.
Well, and I think a lot of times people don't realize that parts that, you know, GM or Ford or whoever, they make a part that's really well and then they will use that for years to amortize the cost and do all those different things. This was upfront money, did the best they could. There was supply chain issues and all sorts of stuff that just, it didn't make it go of it, unfortunately, right? And it's one of those things you never know, it's like the butterfly effect. What if this car would have kept going? Who knows what people would be driving now? The Bricklin brand could have, you know, been something.
Could have been the thing. Could have been the Sunfire.
How many, well, I don't, people always say, yeah, exactly, it could have been the Sunfire of 2000, but it's just all the, you know, the Bricklin's piece of shit, but gulling doors everywhere. But you just kind of never know what's out there. And it's, I mean, I think people forget there's been more car companies and all that start up and fail than are currently existing. Like, how many cars can you even buy now? Like, is there 20 cars you can, like, brand names out there even right now? Like, I don't even know of a new thing. Like, what kind of F-150 do you want that's the exact same for X number of years? It's ugly because it's different, I get it, but I'm going to win the internet over on this one.
Yeah, you are, baby.
Or I'll stop working on it because I can't have the comments because I'm sensitive.
Okay, this is going to be the last question. And you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but so JZ Harvey wants to know, your videos are all over the place. How many projects does this dude have going? It's so hard to follow.
I like how you say it like you think he would have. So hard to follow. Yes. Yes, I'm not saying not. So, again, me and Dan talk about this all the time. So we have the 2 garages now, which is great. Now, this is very different than if you're just working on something yourself. Just one car, one garage, one whatever. You go out there, you tinker on it, you carry on, all those sort of things. For me, I like to switch it up. So I honestly think having 2 different cars you can bounce back and forth, I will work on both cars faster than if I just had one car where I'm fighting myself to be out there, which I don't enjoy doing. That's one. Changing up is always exciting. You can't eat Taco Bell every single day, even though it's delicious, right? You gotta go to McDonald's every now and again.
You don't even like Taco Bell.
Taco time, I like, yeah. But, so whatever, you gotta kind of mix it up and carry on that way. Parts are huge. I mean, it's gotten a lot better now than it was just a couple of years ago, but parts were a disaster. What were you gonna say there? So
I was trying to not burp.
Try not to burp and yawn. Thanks for the interest here on my video. So parts is a nightmare. And then we have the compound effect of being, you know, north of the border, what's even more expensive and harder to get yet again. So there's those things, which I can understand people would like to see maybe a consistent build or whatever it may be of that 57 Chevy. The hardtop, for instance. I spent hours in that car. She's yawning behind the camera. She comes out here So I rattle off 20 minutes of content for her so she can run ads to put money in her pocket, and she can't even not yawn for 20 minutes.
It's cold, that's why I'm yawning.
So that 57 Chevrolet, we dragged her home, and I'm sure a lot of people want to see that thing done, and I hear you, so do I. But that thing has been chassis swap, complete new front end, new rear end, all new suspension, floor pan, the whole belt line of the car down, new, different doors, fenders, hood, motor trans. Like, the only thing we haven't touched on that car was like the roof. I welded up the firewall and like the tops of the quarter panels. I'm burnt out on it. I'm tired of it. I want to do something different.
Well, you did that in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
It was a lot.
Like,
and you're just like, go, go, go. Okay, break, go work on something else. And go weld floor pans on the Nomad, because the way my brain works is like, this is fun. And I get tired of welding floor pans on the Nomad. Okay, so we push that out and let's pull the Bricklin in and make some air doors work. And then when I'm tired of this thing that pisses me off, we'll be back on the 57, or I'll go work on a tow truck, or whatever. And I think doing something a little different every day just keeps it exciting and keeps you motivated. So I get it. Maybe sometimes it's hard to watch, and I wish I could give you a better answer, but unfortunately there's all those factors, but mostly, again, I think if there was no camera on, this is exactly how I do it anyways. So that's what you're getting. Sorry.
The real DD speed job.
Well, it's definitely not like you're filming this thing and putting it up tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So that's how these videos are. At best, I get 2 or 3 videos ahead. So maybe that's a week if I'm lucky. And usually, I don't.
There were 3 nights this week we stayed up till 1 in the morning.
I edited a video last night, uploaded it, that went up today. I just finished a video which I have to edit either tonight or tomorrow to go out the day after. So it's a never-ending battle, right? And so yeah, we're not too far ahead. We're just keeping it going. And if we get to a point where I'd like to do another video on this, but we don't have brakes, we don't have a hood, we don't have, there's not enough to make a video, we're on something else.
Otherwise, there would just be no video.
Otherwise, there'd be no video. Yeah, exactly. And that's how, I know like Roadkill and a lot of those Motor Trend shows are now doing it, where there's nothing for a large amount of time. They'll film 6 or 8 or 10 videos, and then they'll put them out for 2 months, and then there's nothing again. So there is that option, but I think it's, I don't want to say better to put up something than nothing, 'cause I don't think it's garbage content. I do try my hardest in every one. It's just not necessarily in the order for the car, but it is in the order for my life, which is hectic.
And now he has playlists, so you can just go to the playlist.
I'm working on the playlist, so hopefully that makes a difference. The Bricklin playlist is gonna be a busy place, so get in line.
There's gonna be so many people clicking the watch on that one.
Okay, let's go to Canadian Tire before they close.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that's it for us, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I will say some of today's questions actually came from Facebook. So if you're not following us on Facebook yet, it's just DD Speed Shop on Facebook, and we post lots of pictures and stuff on there.
It's not just DD Speed Shop.
But it's just DD Speed Shop.
Just.
You know what I mean?
You sound like a comment. Just DD Speed Shop. Why do you have a fast car, by the way, DD Speed Shop? What a stupid name for nothing but slow cars. You didn't put that one in there.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
That's always
There are some repeat offenders all the time. Anyways, check us out on Facebook. Please like and subscribe. I never say that. That felt very weird to say. I never say that on my videos.
What are you, a YouTuber?
Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Okay, bye. Ooh, also, there's still shirts at ddspeedshop.ca. Okay, bye.